You're listening to a DM podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Batuta Advocate podcast. My name is Wendell Hussey.
And I'm Effie Bateman.
And we are sweating it up in the Desert Rock FM studios. Now, today on the podcast, we're speaking to a guest who is a popular Australian comedian. She's a presenter. She's recently released her full stand-up comedy special.
Yep, and you can find that live on YouTube called Bipolar Baby.
Now, we recorded this just before Christmas at the end of the year there, given everyone's commitments. So there might be some dated references in there, but generally it's pretty good to go. Bec Charlwood, how are you?
Sweaty, baby, but absolutely pleased to be here.
Love that. Now, how has the press run been? Doing lots of talking over the last couple of weeks, I believe.
So much talking, just never shutting the hell up. But thank God I chose this profession because I love to talk about myself. So it's been great.
Well, you are a comedian. Comedians do tend to like to do that. How has the reception been to the special Bipolar Baby?
It's been awesome. It's been I haven't gotten any like crazy negative comments. Like no one has been like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. Fuck you. Kill yourself. None of that. And
That's
I get
great.
a lot of those comments on TikTok. Turns out on YouTube, doesn't exist.
TikTok is nasty.
It's
and they're very
rancid.
creative with how nasty they are. But I was also reading your YouTube comments, and you've got a lot of male fans.
Yeah, I got some suitors.
A lot of Beck stands out there.
Yeah. A lot of people commenting on my appearance, but all of them very respectful.
Yeah, I copy and pasted this one because I thought it was really cute. You're way, capital way too pretty to be this funny. Like seriously, what's wrong with you? There's got to be something, but I'm not seeing it. And somebody's commented, have you watched the show?
I saw that made me cackle.
Yeah.
Did you reach out to that guy and make contact? The classic girls can't be funny, particularly hot girls can't be funny. You reach out to that young man who obviously would be very well adjusted.
Yeah, I mean, it did tell me, I was like, did you watch it with the sound on? Like, it doesn't pose the question. It's like, does anyone listen to women anymore? No. Or ever, you know?
Oh, there's some good ones out there.
But as long as you got the view count up.
And comments equal engagement. What are some of the feral ones you get on TikTok?
Oh my God, women aren't funny.
Yeah, that's the
All
classic. That's the go-to,
time.
yeah.
It doesn't bother me anymore because every time you click on a profile, it's never anyone cool. It's never like, oh no, Billie Eilish, fuck.
No.
Oh my God, Chance the Rapper set up women aren't funny. But it's always like a dude who has his pit bull as a profile picture.
I was literally about to say
Yeah.
a Pitbull, yes.
Or a Nissan Pulsar. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't care what a Nissan Pulsar has to say. Sorry.
Or it's potentially the archetype of like still living at home, gamer, mum makes meals for him,
Yeah.
has strong
Yeah.
opinions on women in comedy.
Yes, yeah. Even though his mother is the only woman he probably has been in physical contact with ever in his life. 100%. But it's gotten to a point now where I have a system, because what will happen is it'll start and then 20 dudes will comment the same thing. What I'll do is I'll just find one and I'll pin it as the top comment so they all know that, don't worry, boys, the job's been taken care of by this brave soldier.
Yeah. This guy's already got it. And look, I guess it is entertaining in a way. Does it get you down, or are you one of those people that's like, fuck, I couldn't be bothered. I just
No, it doesn't
scroll on.
bother me at all. Again, it's no one important. It's
Yeah, exactly.
never anyone important.
Yeah.
If like, I don't know, if like Sandra Bullock was like, I hate this, I would maybe look inward because I adore her. But otherwise, I don't care. And you can't, originally I did at the start, but then I just realized I was like, oh, this is going to be the road forever. And it doesn't matter because the clip will have like 100,000 likes. And people will be like, this is so funny, this is great. And someone will be like, actually, I didn't enjoy it. And you're like,
Actually,
Yeah.
a large amount of saliva moving around around the mouth, actually.
yeah.
Is it mostly to do with like basically being a female comedian? Obviously this special discusses some pretty hectic things, right? It discusses your diagnosis. Were there any kind of like angry comments along those lines, or like did anyone go for you for that, or the way you discussed it, or anything like that?
Not on YouTube.
Not on
It's
YouTube.
been lovely. On TikTok, I have a little video that went off pretty hard. And people I posted it over a year ago. To this day, people are still arguing in the comments.
Wow.
But it's gotten to a point where there's so many comments on it, I can't even go through them to find where the arguments are and who's saying what. And
Is there
even
like
involved.
a few different arguments, or is it like a general argument that they're going back and forth on?
Oh, heaps. One is like, this isn't bipolar. This is just being crazy. And you're like, I would love if that was the case, but I went to a doctor and he said that it is. Or people being like, this is so me, lol. And then other people being like, well, if this is you, get help. And you're like, yeah, it's kind of like the message of the whole thing.
I already did that.
It's never an argument like, oh, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
You're like, were you watching? Shut up.
So are you part of the whole people self-diagnosing on TikTok thing? Do you think your video has added to that?
Yes, unfortunately.
Is it on bipolar talk?
I think it might be.
Yeah.
I mean, I totally don't think you should self-diagnose. I want to put that out there loud and clear. But I think TikTok and mental health talk is helpful to set people on a path towards an actual diagnosis.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Because for ages I was like, I don't know what is wrong with me. I can't hold down a job. I can't hold down a relationship. I'm a terrible friend. Everyone's mad at me all the time and I just cannot get it together. And then when I got diagnosed, everything became easier and everything made so much sense.
Yeah, that would have been a relief.
Hugely.
And not to want to spoil the special, you went for an ADHD diagnosis and then you were diagnosed with bipolar?
Yes. Yeah. Went in there for just something chill, something cool, and came out just flaming full of mental illness, turns out.
That you would have walked out of the room pretty rattled, I imagine, after that.
Yeah, I was pissed off, to be honest. I was like, this isn't fun. Like, this isn't bipolar isn't one of the fun, cute ones. I would like a little bit of depression, that's fun.
You just came here for some Ritalin and then all of a sudden,
you're telling me I got to go on antipsychotics that you can't sell that at parties. People don't like
No, I'm not
that.
going to make money from this.
Yes.
Yeah.
No one wants Seroquel. It's sleepy and it makes you gain weight. Yuck. That's the opposite of what people want at parties.
Definitely not a party drug. How was the decision to decide to make that the focus of the special?
Oh, it was the only interesting thing going on in my life. Once I got diagnosed, like all of like the party stories and everything, like crazy like dating stories, all fizzled out because I got my life in order and I got like a sensible job and a good relationship and started being like a nice person. So all of a sudden I didn't have any big crazy stories to talk about other than this.
Yeah.
My whole life became about like managing my mental illness and it became all consuming. So it's all I had to write about really. And after it happened as well, I was like, one day I need to talk about this because it's just insane.
It's good content.
Do you ever miss the mania?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's sick. Feel like, I mean, you don't have to confess to this, but I'm assuming you guys would have done recreational drugs, perhaps around the MDMA mark. I'm not confirming
My mum
whether
listens to this podcast.
they're both shaking their heads, looking very ashamed at me. For anyone, particularly if Wendell's mum is listening. Well, if you are out there and you have, it's a great feeling. But imagine that lasts for just days on end, and there
Yeah.
is a level of arrogance to it.
Yeah.
And like, because often if you take like MDMA or something, you get like really lovey-dovey, like, oh my God,
You
I
want
love
to kiss
the people
everyone
around
and tell them how
you.
great they are.
Instead, you're like, you feel like you're a god. Anything I wish to be true will become true. And I have the power to do anything. I have power over other people. And feeling like nothing can or ever will go wrong.
Surely a lot of successful or celebrities especially, I mean, you mentioned it in your show, Kanye West.
Yes.
But that's a lot of like, to have that self-belief probably would be very helpful.
I think it's great. I think it's helped me definitely. It's what got me into stand-up. Is looking at comedy and be like, that looks easy as hell.
I should get up right now while they're
Yes.
performing.
Yeah.
Grab the mic.
Yeah. Which is, in a Manic episode, the guy I was dating was like, it's my dream to be a stand-up comedian. And I was like, what
It's
are
my
we
dream now.
doing? We need to go out tonight. We need to make it happen. So we rocked up to an open mic, and he's and the whole time was like, no, like, this isn't how I wanted to do it. And I'm like, you need to let this guy on stage. He's got a dream. And they're like, well, you can't just go up. You have to like sign up and come back next week. And we're like, okay. Went back the next week, and he went up and he did great. I went up, bombed so hard, and it rattled me out of the manic. And so much I was like, that's an awful feeling. I need to get good at this. I need to know that this feels good because it looks so fun.
Yeah.
I'm impressed you guys went back a week later. I could have seen that as just like, oh, well, we can't do it tonight.
Yeah,
Move on to the next thing. Yeah. Has he pursued a career in comedy? Is he?
No, he did 2 gigs, and now he, I think, works in banking, lives in Queensland, and has a 3x2 display home in some suburb with a wife and dog.
Sunny Coast, are we talking, or Goldie?
No, I think Townsville even.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And obviously it's worked out for you because you are now a career comedian, could we say?
Yeah, it's my job now.
Yeah, it's your job. Yeah.
Which is crazy. It's so different because at the start of this year, like, I was on Centrelink and like the poorest I've ever been my whole life. Like, having to zip pay my groceries.
Oh, wow.
Shout out to Zip Pay. Available for Coles and Woolworths delivery. So cool. Not dystopian at all. And now, like, it's my
Holy
full-time
shit.
job. And
What was the turning point, you reckon?
I think it was like a hard talking to myself of being like, if you want this to work, you have to treat it like a full-time job. It's not just booking a couple of gigs, fucking around all day, and then showing up. It's like you have to put in work to get like writing jobs and podcast stuff, have to put effort into that, and clips, and like really build your own, act as your own manager and your own opportunities. And then everything started like gaining speed.
I want to talk about that traction, but just quickly, I believe you worked for a company that designed self-serve checkout machines.
I did.
Surely you could have used the inside knowledge there to go in and just peel off with some rump steak and vegetables for brown onion prices.
You'd be surprised. It's the easiest way to steal is just weighing something different. Like, there's no code that I could have done, like, to find. I definitely thought about it. I mean, working as like a factory worker on like minimum wage, I was like, how can I make this? But they're pretty indestructible from like code wise.
Did you have a background in any of that sort of stuff? Working?
No. I went to an employment agency because my resume was so shit, no one would hire me. I think I've had like 32 jobs.
32.
It's too many. It's simply
That's
too
very
many.
impressive.
But I think that would help you as a comedian. You have so much, inside knowledge of various industries.
Yeah. I mean, I worked at IKEA for a long time, so like I can get through an IKEA
Lovely
so
lunches
quickly.
at IKEA, right?
Great lunches. Don't eat the meatballs 2 days in a row though. It will give you the runs.
Really?
That is some
Do you reckon
insider
it's a 2
knowledge
days
that
in a row,
everyone
or did
probably
you just
knew.
get a bad batch? Because I feel like I'll be doing 5 days a week meatballs.
That's because at IKEA, this is okay.
It's
such
the Swedish
a fun,
meatballs, right?
Swedish meatballs at IKEA, because you know how they have the restaurant where the people eat.
Yeah.
On the other side of the wall, they have a miniature restaurant where all the staff eat.
Really?
Yeah, and you get like hella cheap lunches, so you can get like 12 meatballs for like a couple of bucks.
Because they're
And
pretty
it's
cheap
delicious.
already. I know that they, my grandparents love nothing more than doing, it's like $4 or $5 breakfast, and you get eggs, bacon, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they make a loss on the. Sorry, I'm getting really into my nerd shit with IKEA. Is the reason they make the food so cheap is because it's like a huge selling point, and it gets people into the store, and then they inevitably end up spending money. So
Yeah. Same with the Bunnings sausage sizzle thing. They don't make $1 from it. It's all charities that come and do the sausage sizzle, but people go there for the sausage, and then all of a sudden they walk out with some $400 Ryobi drill or a new lawnmower, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Back into the basically going full time into comedy. What does that look like? Is it a mixture of writing, gigs, podcasting, the J's, etc.? How does like an average kind of week look for you?
So I'll usually do one shift at Triple J, host a trivia night, which covers me rent. Music trivia, Public House Petersham every Wednesday, come through. And then I'll host a couple of gigs throughout the week, and then either do like a writing thing, or like occasionally you'll get like some sponsored content, which gives you like
Nice.
a nice little chunk of money. A corporate occasionally, they're really what help like bridge the grabs.
The grabs?
The gap. So like usually throughout the week, I don't make too much money from actual stand-up. It's like stand-up adjacent things. And then occasionally once every 2 months, you get a corporate and then you're like, oh my God, okay, I'm going to be able to go to the doctors. That's awesome.
How do you like create comedy for corporates? Like how do you, do they give you dot points of things to talk about? Are you joking about the boss? Like how does it work?
It's different for every corporate because everyone has a different idea of what they think stand-up is, because a lot of people just watch it and have never seen it live. So they'll be like, hey, we're having a luncheon in a meeting room, and in my head I'm imagining you're going to come and do 20 minutes of stand-up. It's going to bring the vibe up. It's going to be the middle of the day, fluorescent lights, and no one wants to be there, but I'm sure it will be awesome. And then you have to try talk them into giving you just like a microphone to make it more bearable. And then most of the time they are pretty disappointed with the product, but you have their money.
And
that's what matters.
Always often a sizable amount of money. I think everyone, sports people, comedians, influencers, there's a lot of love for corporate gigs and a lot of appreciation for corporate gigs. What's the darkest one you've had? That sounds pretty close to it, standing in a boardroom in the middle of the day.
That was an International Women's Day gig. Where it was, in the lunchroom of a office. And it was me and one other comedian, and then someone from the Liberal government did a speech, and then a woman who worked for a domestic violence charity did a talk. And they're like, and now it's time for stand-up comedy. And by the way, everyone was standing. No one was sitting. And they gave us a microphone. It didn't work, but we all just held it because otherwise you'd feel insane, like just giving a TED in the office, just telling a long story about like how you got your ass eaten, and you're like, this is not.
Did you
vibe.
really? Was that the bin?
Yeah,
the bin story.
The bins. I told the bin story. Because they were like, we love that. We really want to hear about the mental health stuff. I was like, I think you want to hear about fun mental health. I don't think you want to hear about the mental health shit, because a lot of it's grim, dude.
That sounds like a tough one. That's an interesting mix of speakers to get up there. And
yeah.
Fun times.
I'll tell you, I did have a great run of corporates for I won't say what fast food company, but I'm loving the money that they gave me.
Yeah.
And that was fun. I just got to MC.
Were they offering you up food and stuff?
No, they didn't give out any, which I was surprised about. Yeah, but I guess it was all like for their workers. So
so you go in a head office, and their head office isn't going to be eating the stuff that they're serving in their restaurants.
Yeah,
which I'm assuming
we get
is
this
set underneath
all
the golden
day,
arches
every day.
Yeah, lovely. A few shifts at the Jays over the Chrissy break for you. You'll be hustling away.
I'll be covering Weekend Breakfast.
Yep.
Very excited. I've got a show that I'm going to do called Australian Comedians Have Other Talents, where I get my friends on who are comedians that have other talents, mostly just musical, and make them verse each other and get the text line to vote. Do you guys have any awful talents?
I was about to ask you if you had any.
Nah, I'm very untalented. I'm just a random kind of suburban kid from here in Batuta. I'm like, okay, it's sport.
Do you play an instrument at all?
No.
Can you sing?
Can you sing?
Musically, no way.
Is there a karaoke song even that you're like, I do nail this?
No, I don't even nail karaoke songs.
Not even Lips of an Angel by Hinder. Everyone can nail Lips of an Angel.
This is how you remind me. You know what? I had an argument the other day. Nickelback is a good band. I think they're a good band.
They get a bad rap.
They didn't deserve the shit they got.
No.
They're a good band.
No, but it's that pop culture thing, where people like to pile on and it becomes a fun joke to be a part of. But I agree with you. They're not as bad as everybody makes them out to be,
Talent.
Surely you got
I
something.
used to be able to neigh like a horse really well because I was a horse girl.
What? Could you give it a go? Come on.
I instantly regretted saying that. Okay.
Yeah, you just. I'm very impressed you said that on the microphone.
As soon as that sentence came out, I was like, shit.
So are you gonna neigh?
Right, because you've got like the whinny, you've got the snort, the neigh. I think there's.
This is awesome.
Please.
Wendell's dying.
Please give us the
wait,
whinny.
Wait, like.
That's really good.
Okay, wait, like, no, the whinny's more like. And then like, no, I don't know what that was.
Those
that
are all. No, I know the sound. It's before they go like.
Squeal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I used to be.
Do you
really
want to
good.
come on? Australian comedians have other talents.
Make horse noises. Do you ever get into hobby horsing?
I did. I had a unicorn one, and I had a brown one. So the unicorn one, you pressed its ear, and it went. Clop, 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 clop.
And we're getting a cacophony of horse sounds.
There are so many. There's so many. But I kept that shit up until I was 14, and that's too old.
Yeah, that's a couple of years too
Yeah,
old.
I was running around the oval, jumping over things
At school.
At fucking school.
How long was your hair? Did you
awesome.
have like waist length hair?
I did have pretty long hair. Yeah. It went too long.
That's great. I'm proud that you were so proud to be you.
Yeah,
You were
know
in
what?
high school being like, you know what? This is what I
Fuck
like.
it. Yeah.
I've only this year have finally adopted the attitude of like, fuck, it's what I like.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what? Everyone's unique. Everyone's got their own interests. I love that for you, Effie.
Like, thanks to you, I'm this close to getting into fan fiction. Honestly, it's going to happen.
What sort of
2024.
fan fiction are we thinking?
I saw the new Hunger Games movie, and
Yes.
I longed for more. And I know that the internet has
He's a hottie.
more. He's a hottie, but he's dangerous.
He's scary. And he's
scary,
got
he's
the white
bad.
blonde hair.
Yes, like the devil.
Yes.
Who is he? Who's the new Hunger Games guy?
He's the young Snow, I believe.
Yes.
Right? I know someone who's into the Harry Potter fan fiction, and I just
Is
can't.
it you, Wendell?
Yes.
I
That's
was
one of my
looking at
things.
Wendell.
I like a lot of Harry Potter fan fiction on the side.
Yeah.
So all fan fiction is erotic of sorts. Is that the case, or can there be just like random fan fiction that is not to do with?
Oh no, you can have normal ones,
Okay.
but obviously the ones that get talked about a lot is the erotic ones. And
horny
50
ones.
Shades of Grey is a Twighlight fan fiction.
Yes.
Which is one of my favorite facts to tell.
Do you? I told you about the 9/11 to 50 Shades of Grey pipeline. Do you know about this one?
No, but
I think I've heard about this,
I think I
yeah.
need to know now.
So, 9/11 happens. Awful
Yep.
tragedy.
Yep.
Gerard Way is working as, I think, a comic book artist or in computers, something that he is like, this is not it. He
Yep.
sees how tragic it is. He realizes life is short. I can't be doing things that I don't like. He starts My Chemical Romance, okay, to deal with the dark feelings, express
Yeah.
himself, follow his dreams. Stephanie Meyer listens to My Chemical Romance, is inspired by the dark themes, big fan. It inspires her to write the novel Twighlight, right? Twighlight, huge, massive success.
Yeah.
Online, what is it? E.L. James.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Watches Twighlight, is so moved by it, starts making fan fiction called 50 Shades of Grey, which become the 50 Shades of Grey series. And that's how 9/11 inspired 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh my God.
So-
9/11 did 50 Shades of Grey.
Osama bin Laden.
Osama bin Laden did 9/11 and 9/11 did 50 Shades of Grey. An
Had-
equal atrocity.
Had a lot to answer for, didn't you? There you go. That's a very interesting fact.
Yeah.
You love a fact, don't you? I believe in your show you've got a few facts.
I love a fact. And
Effie loves facts.
Effie
but
also
they-
loves a
I
fact.
They all
Facts.
tend to
You
be.
feature in the special saying a fact, and before we started recording, you didn't realize that it was your voice.
No, I had many Prosecco's
Mm.
at that point.
You know, pigeons are the only birds that drink like us. They actually suck water.
How else do birds? They just like
They like lap and then
Sorry,
it
that
just
was
sorry.
just the most
Yeah, that was a
intense
graphic thing. They
tongue movement.
they lap it up and then like they get their tongue out right and they go like
They got little
a
bird
dog
leather
or a
tongues.
thing. Yeah, but pigeons are the only ones that.
So you could give a pigeon
Drink
a
it.
straw.
Potentially.
Oh my God. That's
a
my new
paper
charity
straw.
straws for
A paper
pigeons.
I
straw.
hope. or a steel straw, not a plastic straw. Be very responsible.
Wow, that's a great animal fact. I love that.
I wanted to ask you about the podcast. You used to do a successful podcast, part of the Diamantina Media stable, the far-reaching Diamantina Media stable. How that's recently come to an end.
Yes.
How has it been transitioning back to being able to watch movies without having to think about them and analyze them for your podcast?
And watch movies that you want to watch.
Yeah. I thought I would be so relieved. After years of watching movies that were prescribed to us that we didn't want to watch and then having to analyze them and everything. Now, the first few weeks, I was like, awesome, I'm going to watch what I watch. And now when I watch something and I want to talk about it, I have nowhere to talk about it. Me and Alex will catch up and we'll immediately have to have like mini podcasts because it's just such a great like release for us and we're so accustomed to just talking about everything we've watched in depth. I miss it.
You need to get on Reddit. IMDb used to have that section where you could talk shit about a movie and they got rid of it. Which devastating. But now everyone goes to Reddit. So you watch something and something pisses you off, type it in and you can see all these people and it's great and you talk to each other and they reveal things that you didn't even notice. It's so much fun.
That does sound.
Yeah.
I love when people are like, but did you notice this? You're like, I have to watch the whole thing again.
Oh, I just wanted to comment that the divorced dad house is such a thing.
Beers and steaks.
Yeah.
All the way. My dad loved clearance meat. He would go to the shops specifically before they closed on a Saturday because all the meat would go on clearance. And we would always go back to Mum's with like stomach bugs just galore. Mum was just like, all right, it's Monday is diarrhea time, I guess, in the house. Better stock up.
And then he
on
has the
bog roll.
one-ply toilet paper as well.
Oh my God.
That's a bad combination.
I remember the soap was like almost like a mummified. Like it was like when you've had soap for so long, it starts to get like flakes on the side and there's like dirt deep trapped in it.
Oh, like the hard soap?
Yes.
Yeah, my dad has just
Dad's
like
not getting liquid soap. No, it's
No!
too expensive.
My dad gets, and they end up being like tiny. Yeah, do we have the same dad?
I think everyone has the same dad secretly.
Was he okay with the clearance steak? Like, did he built up the constitution to be able to process those off meats?
Well, my father has never described a bowel movement to me in his entire life.
He was
so I would
fine.
never know.
Yeah.
I would never, maybe, perhaps.
If you were in the cubicle with him at work, you might know otherwise, but generally...
As a
generally
child,
probably
no, we had
fine.
separate bathrooms, so, you know.
Yeah,
maybe
you're
he
all
had
sorted.
3-ply in his bathroom.
Oh, he could.
Yeah, no, that's slander. That's going too far. My father loves me. Terrible at interior decorating, but he loves me.
Well, Bec, thank you very much for stopping by the podcast. All the best with the show. Going gangbusters. We'll keep on rolling. Enjoy the summer, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.